Harihi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Text 47. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is described that the Lord, being requested by Atri's wife, Anasuya, accepted to become the son of Atri. Hare Krishna. This supports the description in the first canto, text 48. Did you find it? Thus it is said, Vishnu, giving a boon to Anasuya, taking the form of a human, by his own will, appeared as the son of Atri. Thus decorated with the dress of an initiate, he was called Dattatreya. Vishnu, the pervader of the universe, who was a form of a human, by his own will, who has a form of a human by his own will, gave a boon to Anasuya and became the son of Atri in her womb. Though the Lord and his body are non-different, there is a distinction because of Vishesha. So what is a Vishesha? The Vishesha, this concept of Vishesha. Yeah, different way of saying Achinta Beda Beda Tattva. There is no difference, but at the same time there is difference for the sake of rasa. Otherwise it's just one thing. And with one entity, although if this entity is the Lord, you should be able to have unlimited types of relationship, but still the Lord decides to manifest different forms. And they are the same, but at the same time they are also different. According to the fourth canto, Atri prayed for a son like the Lord. However, the statement from the first canto says that Anasuya directly prayed for a son. That is supported by the statement in the Brahmanda Purana. Here, Atri prayed for a son like the Lord. This reminds me about who was this Maharaja Nabi? He prayed in the same way. Was it Maharaja Nabi? And then Rsabha appeared. I don't remember. Maybe I'm mixing stories, but anyway, he performed sacrifice, and the Brahmanas performed the sacrifice so well that the Lord appeared personally. And then everybody was surprised, and they were even from one point of view, they were very happy to see the Lord, but they were also kind of ashamed that now the Lord Himself appeared, and now we have to ask this material boon from Him, because the king wanted the son. And then the Brahmanas, kind of embarrassed, they offered prayers to the Lord, and then the Lord said, your desire is that you want a son just like me, but this is very difficult because I'm one without a second. There's nobody equal or superior to me, so then it's difficult to grant this boon. But since you are the Brahmanas, bona fide Brahmanas, and whatever you say, I will follow, so then I myself will appear. And then he himself appeared as the son of the king. And it's just interesting that Krishna is not a strict follower of the letter of the law. And he's not also vengeful and irritable, because if he was like this, he would have probably told the priests, what is this strange desire? Don't you know that there is no one greater or equal to me? So what is this offense? I consider this blasphemy. So you guys go to hell, stuff like that. And Krishna he's willing to, he's seeing the situation and he understands the desires of his devotees, and then he makes the adjustments. Okay, that's true. There's nobody like me. So the desire of the king cannot be fulfilled. But I can appear myself. And then everything will be okay because I am myself and everybody will be happy. So, and the bureaucracy, Srila Prabhupada said, the bureaucracy's job is to say no. Wherever you go and ask, they say no. No, no, we need to fill this form, no, we have to go to this other office. And Krishna, fortunately, he's not a bureaucrat. So he will, if we are sincere, he will make all the adjustments, all the arrangements. And yesterday we heard, I don't know, yesterday, during the Krishna book, Maharaj was reading Krishna book, and then Krishna told Muchukunda that it is my, what was that? My eternal principle, or my something like that. That if my devotee has some desire, I'll fulfill all these desires. So please ask for a boon. And Muchukunda, of course, he didn't ask for anything material. He just asked for pure bhakti. And Krishna was very pleased. Okay, text 49. Hayagriva is described in the second canto, so this is the next after Dattatreya. The Lord appeared as the Hayagriva incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me, Brahma. He is the personified sacrifices, and the hue of his body is golden. He is the personified Vedas as well, and the super soul of all demigods. When he breathed, all the sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. So he is the personified sacrifice, just like Varahadev. He is the personified Vedas as well, and he is the super soul of all demigods. So now we know the Lord in the heart of the demigods is this form. And when he breathed, all the sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils, just like when Garuda flaps his wing, Samaveda, the sound of the Samaveda emanates. At my sacrifice, Brahmas, the Lord became Hayagriva. From his nostrils appeared the pleasant Vedas. Text 50. Appearing from the sacrificial fire, Hayagriva killed the demons Madhu and Kaitava and again produced the Vedas. So because they stole the Vedas, and the Lord killed them. And returned the knowledge to the demigods, to Brahma. Hamsa is described in the second canto. Now the next, yes?
Do you know what is the form of Hayagriva?
I like a horse. I saw a picture of a horse head and a human body. So there is a demon Hayagriva as well.
Yes. Demon Hayagriva and we have
There is the Lord. It's interesting whether the Lord Hayagriva kills the demon Hayagriva. There is such a pastime. Hare Krishna. No problem. Hare Krishna. Welcome, welcome. Hamsa is described in the second canto. O Narada, you are taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Hamsa avatara. He was very much pleased with you due to your intense proportion of devotional service. He also explained unto you lucidly the full science of devotional service, which is especially understandable by persons who are souls surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. So, this full science of devotional service is especially understandable by the persons who are devotees, and it's very difficult to be understood by non-devotees. Therefore, in Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj says, Matirna Krishna Paratasvato Vamito Vipadita Griha Vratanam Abanda Gobil Vishtam Tamisram Punah Charvita Charvananam. Prahlad Maharaj says, it is very difficult for you, practically impossible to understand what I'm talking about. You cannot understand Krishna consciousness by your own endeavors, by help from outside, somebody helps you, or by the combined effort. Your effort and somebody is trying to help you. By these methods, you cannot understand Krishna consciousness. Because you are griha vrata, you have given a vow that you want to enjoy in the material world. And unless you put the dust of the lotus feet of a devotee, pure devotee in your head, you cannot understand Krishna consciousness. Naisham matista vaturu kramangrim sprishanti anartha pagamo yadartha mahyesham pado pada rajo abhishekam nishkinchinanam navrinita yavat pada rajo abhishekam nishkinchinanam. Somebody who is nishkinchina, who is completely free of all material desires, and he is fully surrendered to the Lord. When you take the dust of his lotus feet, then you can understand, you have a chance to understand Krishna consciousness. So here, it's very difficult. And this pastime of Hamsa Avatara, the appearance of Hamsa Avatara is very interesting. It appears in 11th canto. And there the four Kumaras, they go to Brahma, their father, and ask a question. The question is, our dear father, our dear Guru, it is well known that the senses and the mind, they are very intimately connected to the sense objects. They're so intertwined. Anyonya is the Sanskrit word. Anyonya means mutual. They're so intimately connected that they are defined by one another, by each other. You define the mind and the senses through the sense objects. What is the use of the mind or the senses if there is no sense objects? That's how you define them. So unless they connect, there is no point of their existence at all. So since this is so, the Kumaras ask, how is it possible that somebody attains liberation? Because the connection is defined, like it seems like it is predestined that they will unite, the senses and the sense objects. And that's what happens. Human life means constant contact between the senses, the mind. The mind is just the place where all the data from the senses combines, and we taste different rasas, different tastes in the mind. So this is the human existence. So how is it possible to separate those, the senses and the sense objects? And this is liberation. How is it possible at all? And then in Bhagavatam it is said that Brahma, whose intelligence was busy, very engaged with the service of creation of the universe, he could not find the essential answer to this question. He thought for a while, he thought and he considered and he pondered upon, and then he understood that I don't know the answer to this. It looks impossible. And then because he surrendered to the Lord, then he meditated, and then Krishna appeared in this form, Hamsa Avatara. And then was the four Kumaras, they asked him, who are you? And then he gave very funny answer, interesting answer, showing that this question is kind of off the track. Because who are you? What do you mean? The body or subtle body? And then there was long discussion, but the answer of Hamsa Avatara to the question was, and this appears when the whole, is it because it's a narration in a narration. There was story. I think it was before the Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, I think there was another story. And then the answer of the Hamsa Avatara in short is, yes, it is true that it's impossible to separate the senses from the sense objects, but you should understand that both the senses, the sense objects, the mind. It's just me. This is my energy. We should understand this with straight analysis of the facts. That's what he says. So in other words, Srila Prabhupada makes this point when he describes the predicament of priya, when he wanted to follow the instructions of his guru, Narada Muni, and stay aloof from family life, but then Brahma himself came with all the Vedas and the sages, and Brahma, when he saw him, he smiled because he thought, you're very determined to follow your guru, but now I'll have to break your determination. So he smiled compassionately to Priyavrata, and then he explained that we are all bound by the orders of the Lord. Nobody can escape the fulfillment of our duty, dharma. And so then Priyavrata had to choose between following Narada Muni's instructions to be brahmachari and following Brahma's instructions to get married. And then Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, so the answer to this is, and he quotes Rupa Goswami, Anasaktasya Vishayan etarham upayunchitaha nirbandha Krishna sambandhi yukta vairagya muchite. Performing your duty without attachment, just for the sake of Krishna, and then this will please both Hare Krishna. This will please both Narada Muni and Brahma. So he got married, but he was performing his duty with detachment. So something similar was explained by Hamsa Avatara. Yes, it is true that there is very intimate connection between the senses and the mind and the sense objects, but you should understand that the mind, the senses, the sense objects, these are just different expansions of my energy. And if everything is used in my service, with detachment, this is how you attain liberation. Not by superficially trying to disengage with this, with the reality, the way, the method of the Buddhists and the Mayavadis and impersonalists. It's not possible. Okay.
So it's a question of changing the perception, the consciousness.
Yes.
Not the situation itself.
Yeah.
I remember also Swata Maharaj was, when he was saying, like explaining this pastime in Bhagavatam, he was mentioning that when Hamsa Avatara appeared, and he said, yes, it's true you cannot separate the senses and the sense objects, that's true, but you are neither the senses nor the sense objects.
This is.
You are actually something different. So
something different.
It doesn't matter what will happen between the senses and the sense objects. In any way, you are something aloof from this whole thing.
You're not the. So technically, you're not part of the scene.
So basically, what Hamsa Avatara is saying, it's not that you get liberation by separating the senses and the sense objects. You get liberation by understanding you are neither the senses nor the sense objects. You are something different from them.
You are the observer.
Yes.
Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, again we quoted this verse some few lectures ago, but the advanced transcendentalists, they work in this world only with the desire to get purified, not because they want to get some sense pleasure, some happiness. But this is my duty, I do it with the spirit of detachment. And one of our gurus, because somebody asked him a question, so I'm walking down the street and then I see a attractive object of the senses, whatever this can be. So how do I react? And then he said something similar to what Hamsa Avatara. He said, the body is attracted to another body, and this is automatic. It happens by the power of Maya, by long habits, samskaras from who knows how many, only Krishna knows how many lifetimes. But we're not the body. So this is very interesting because the body is attracted, but then if you're able to withdraw yourself from the body in this sense, to observe the situation. Okay, the body is attracted, but I'm not the body. So you don't deny that the body is attracted, but you're not the body. It's a very subtle way of dealing with this. And then, if this is not your duty to be attracted to this object, then you don't do anything. You have to see, is it your duty? Or if it's not, then you have other things to do. Okay. Cha indicates not only Narada, but the Kumaras and others. The Lord spoke to you and others about yoga, bhakti yoga, and knowledge concerning the Lord and concerning the Svarupa of the Jiva, which those who are surrendered to the Lord can easily understand. Others, however, even with effort, cannot understand these subjects. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, the amazing verse, the soul is, some conceive of it as amazing, and some see it as amazing, and some others, they don't understand the soul at all. Text 52 and 53. Since I am capable of distinguishing the essence of all things, as if separating milk from water when mixed, the Lord appeared from the water as a swan. So this is Hamsa avatar. And now Dhruva Priya is described in the second canto also, being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king. You find it? Even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest. And the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages, both upward and downward. This was another impossible desire of the devotee, because we spoke that the desire of Atri Muni was also impossible. He wanted a son like the Lord. It's not possible. And this was another impossible desire. Dhruva Maharaj wanted kingdom bigger than the kingdom of his predecessors, and that's not possible because they are the greatest people in the universe. And the Lord made the impossible possible. Another example, Nrsimhadev, when he appeared, Hiranyakashipu, he asked very angrily his son, "You say that your Lord is everywhere. Is he here in this pillar?" And then, actually, Srila Prabhupada, once he said that in one lecture, he said that Prahlad Maharaj saw Nrsimhadev in the pillar. So if we take this as pramana, then when Hiranyakashipu asked, "Is your Lord there in the pillar?" then Prahlad Maharaj, he must have saw Nrsimhadev in the pillar. And then Nrsimhadev gave him assurance. "Yeah, just go ahead, tell them I'm here." And another impossible thing. So many times, all the time, the impossible becomes possible by the Lord's mercy. Okay, so this is Dhruva. Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a footnote. Upward and downward, here refers to the higher, Upari, sons of Brahma, and the lower, Adastat, second generation Saptarishis. The first group consists of Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Krato, Brigu, Vasishta, Daksha, and Narada. The other 7 sages, Chitraketu, Surochi, Viraja, Mitra, Ulbana, Vaso, Pridhayana, and Dyuman, are sons of Vasishta and his wife Arundhati. Okay.
So this should be other Manvantara, because we don't know these 7 sages.
Yeah, maybe in the future. Maybe when...
from before that.
Or from before that, from the past.
Because ours are... What are our 7 sages? Vasishta, Vishwamitra,
Atri,
Kashyapa.
They're changing when when Indra changes, Manu changes. Being pierced by the words of the co-wife Suruchi in the presence of the king Uttanapada, the young boy Dhruva went to the forest to perform penance because he could not tolerate the situation, being a Kshatriya. Pleased with Dhruva, He could not tolerate the situation, although Narada Muni tried to pacify him and tell him, "You're just 5 years old boy. Please go back home. It's not for you to. It's not your duty to go to the forest at this tender age." And then Dhruva told him, "I'm very sorry, but your words, although you are a very great sage, but they don't appeal to me because you speak from the point of view of a Brahmana, but I'm not a Brahmana, I'm a Kshatriya, and I have to do something." And this story is very interesting because the co-wife, Suruchi, she told Dhruva that you cannot sit on the lap of your father because you have not come out of my womb. Because I'm the favorite queen. Only my children are allowed to have this favor. So, and she said, so if you want to attain this position, first of all you have to die now, and then you have to take birth again from my womb, you have to become my son, and then you'll be allowed to do this. So it reminds me about some people, they say the same about us, Kas Goswamis and different people from Puri, some of these pandas and some Mayavadis there. They say that now we acquire Sukriti and when we die, then we're born again in Hindu families, there in Jagannath Puri for example, and then we can start a real devotional service. Now it's just a preparation for it. So this mentality was not approved by neither by Narada Muni, neither by the Lord. And because Dhruva Maharaj attained the mercy of the Lord in this lifetime, yes.
There was such a story of Srila Prabhupada. One of the devotees, he had some association with some like Paka Brahmin Pujari, some temple, and he told him, okay, I'm giving you a blessing after this lifetime of preaching and preparation. Next time you'll be born like a Pujari, like me, in a Paka family, and then you'll be able to render service. Mm-hmm. And he went and he related this to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada became a little bit irritated and said, I'm giving him a blessing after this life of perfect Pujari. Next time he'll be born as a preacher and he'll preach like you over the world. Yeah. So it looks like Prabhupada, he had different.
Yeah, he had. There was the other story when some god brother of Prabhupada, he came, somewhere here in Mayapur I think, to our temple, and the devotees, they had prepared some prasadam and they invited him, but he declined because this is a food cooked by
non-Aryans.
People from Mauritius, yeah. Then Prabhupada understood this and he was not pleased. Then little later, the same god brother, he had problems maintaining some temple somewhere here, I think, in India, in Mayapur maybe. And then he requested Srila Prabhupada to help. Basically, he wanted money. And Prabhupada replied, I don't have problem giving you the money, but there is one problem. This are the money coming from Lechas and Yavanas, and you'll be contaminated by using those money. So I cannot do this, but if you give the temple to us, I'll take care, we'll maintain it. So just, let us have the temple. And then this god brother, he kept this letter with himself for forever. He carried this letter because he got the lesson, and then I think quite some time later.
Prabhupada left.
After Prabhupada left, he came to ISKCON and he said, okay, now I understood, so please, I want to take prasadam with you. And so, this is the caste Goswami consciousness. You have to change your body. But the changing of body can happen. It's a change of consciousness. This is the most important. So then we have technical discussion here, which we will skip. It's just the question, how to summarize it, because there is no the discussion is because there is no mention, explicitly is not mentioned that this incarnation is the one that gave mercy to Dhruva Maharaj. So there is a technical discussion in few verses explaining why it is logically following from different verses of Shastra that it is this specific incarnation. Yes.
Oh.
So we're not going to go through the whole thing.
Can I ask you a question? How did Surichi say this to Dhruva when Dhruva was the eldest? He was the firstborn son. So by all rights, he should have the rights of inheritance.
True, but her point was that I am the favorite queen. Just like, yeah.
Puru?
No, I was thinking about Ramachandra and Bharata, but it's a kind of different scenario there. So it was not a question of a reasonable Shastric, Pramanic explanation, it was an emotional thing. I am the favorite queen, and whatever I say, because I control the king, whatever I say it goes, and she may be the senior queen, but now it's my time. This is what Rukmini told Krishna. When she sent this letter, now it's my time, something like this. Now it's my time. You have to come. This is my time. So it's emotional thing. It doesn't matter when the emotions overflow. Then it doesn't matter the rules and regulations. People go with the flow of the emotions.
So, like in the case of Rama had to be the
Yeah.
control.
No, the thing there was that it was similar to the story of Shantanu and this the father of one of his Satyavati, I think. Okay, so when Dasharatha Maharaj married one of the queens, Kaikeyi, I think, the stipulation was that her son will become the successor of the king. But then nobody thought about this when Rama appeared, because everybody saw Rama. He was the eldest also amongst them. So he had the right because he's the eldest, but there was also this conflicting promise that was given to the other queen.
So Hamsa had a point actually.
Bhishma.
Yeah, similar to the story of Bhishma, yes. But no, she had a point, but she didn't think about this. Nobody thought about this. She herself, Kaikeyi, she herself didn't. She was very happy initially when he understood that Ramachandra will be the crown prince. Only when Mantara poisoned her mind, and she was able only to poison her mind only because the demigods entered her speech, because the demigods wanted this to happen. Because everything was going too smooth, and it was not according to their plan. They wanted Ravana killed, and this was supposed to happen by Rama going into exile, then Sita being kidnapped, then Rama going and killing Ram. And therefore they entered the speech of Mantara, and in the beginning Mantara could not move Kaikeyi. She spoke for a long time. Kaikeyi just laughed at her, and therefore Valmiki calls her a goddess. And she was, I don't understand why you're so envious. What's the problem? Ramachandra, I'm happy that he will be the king. I don't mind my son won't be the king. But then she kept on talking. And then, because her speech was very powerful, and then she managed to influence Kaikeyi. Everything happened.
I have another point or question. Like, can you say, okay, Suruchi is representing this caste of Brahmins, and when we read the verses, she's telling Dhruva, go and worship the spring god. So she's giving him like proper advice. But can you say that this proper advice is not good in some way because her mentality and her instruction is to go worship the spring god in order for you to get something material? And therefore, in the later verses, it's not pointed out that actually Suruchi gave the first advice. First, she was the first like partner production to go to Dhruva, because she pointed out, go and worship the Lord. But
Her mom.
Bhagavatam and Rsabha don't mention it, they accept as the mother of Dhruva. And
And there is the controversial purport where Prabhupada says that because she was a woman, she could not become the Diksha Guru, but we're not going to touch this. Enough people that are talking on this. I think her point was that you have to worship the Lord to get the mercy, the blessing that become my son. That was her point. Well, the instruction was good, but she was motivated, and it was more like, okay, good luck, If you want something, you want this, good luck. Go in the forest, worship the Lord. I don't think she seriously considered that he will do that. It was like more like, it's impossible. And maybe in the future, but it was material tinged.
Can we say also that the caste mentality is that they're putting the rules and regulations and birth and things like that, and even themselves above the supreme Lord. Like Suruchi, she said, you have to do this in order to get me. So she's presenting the Lord as something lower than her.
She was devotee also. She understood that the Lord is the highest, but the Lord is there, but the most important is what happens here. And here I'm the master. I'm controlling the king. The king is, the emperor controls the whole kingdom, and I control the king. So it's actually me. I say, I call the shots here. So that was her point.
And the king is the representative of the Lord.
Yeah. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that if the husband is too attached, unordinately attached to the wife or to one of the wives, then she will make him pay for this. She will understand that I control him, and then she will take advantage. So therefore, it's so important that the detachment. And the same with Kashyapa and Diti, when she wanted to conceive a child in an inappropriate time, then Kashyapa, with sweet words, tried to persuade her, and he was glorifying her. It didn't work out. And the acharyas explained that he should have scolded her. But to do that, it requires detachment, and he was too attached, so he couldn't deal with the situation. So he just paid obeisance to the all-powerful destiny, and then Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakasha were born because of this. So detachment is very important. Okay? Yes?
I remember this interesting moment when Vishnu appeared before Dhruva, and Dhruva said, "Oh, I had the wrong desire."
Yeah.
And basically, Vishnu, he said, "Okay, I'll fulfill your desire." He said, "No, I don't want this anymore." He said, "What problem?" And Dhruva
What's the
said,
problem?
"No, there is a problem, because if you fulfill my
Material desire,
that means I'm not getting prema." And then Vishnu said, "No problem, I'll fulfill your material desire, and still I'll give you prema."
Yeah.
Which also a little bit comes out of our normal understanding as a devotees, because somehow we have this idea that either Krishna will give you material, which is not the best, but anyway we have material desires, or you shouldn't ask anything material, and then only you can get
this
prema.
the highest.
Yeah. But then in this situation we see that, again, you said many impossible things are possible.
Yeah, that's another example. Yeah, because the Lord is very pleased when the devotee doesn't ask for anything material. He's very pleased, like we heard yesterday in Krishna book. But even if the devotee asks for something material, and then he changed his mind, Krishna is so kind that He doesn't hold this against the devotee. That's the thing, you know. That's again the difference between the material and spiritual. When, for example, you have a medical insurance, and then in order to get some medical assistance, there are some requirements. And when something happens, let's say you need surgery or something, these guys there, they go through every possible opportunity in your contract that they will deny the funds and the help. They are looking for an excuse to send you out and to not help you. And Krishna is the opposite. He is looking for any excuse to give us the mercy. So this is the great difference. Any excuse, anything. He has done something, at least something. Well, I don't see. No, look carefully. Okay, once he was drunk with his drunk friend, and they were in the old Vishnu temple. And then they became so intoxicated that they raised a rag from the floor and they waved it in the temple because they were completely drunk and intoxicated. And this is Anga of Bhakti. This is raising a flag in the temple of Vishnu. So bring these people in Vaikuntha. That's it. They did it. They did something. Even we as devotees, when we hear these stories, maybe sometimes internally we'll, hey, wait a minute, what is this, man? I'm doing here devotional service 20, 30 years, and these guys, they are going back home to Godhead? Yeah, maybe we will sometimes also have a little problem with this. But Krishna is not like that. He's very generous. Therefore, this famous verse, Aho Bakiyam Stamakala Kutam Chigam Sayapa Apya Sadvi Rebe Datim Gatri Uchitam Tatonyat Kam Vada Arum Sharanam Vrajema, from third canto. Who can be more merciful than Krishna, who gave the position of his mother to the Putana, the witch who was unfaithful? She tried to kill him. Who can be more merciful than Krishna? Yes, somebody. Yes.
In this pastime with Dhruva, he mentioned that the demigods had bewildered him and caused him to look for a material benediction. Like you said, it was material consideration to go and find Krishna. But fortunately, his desire aligned with the Lord's desire. They matched on the same thing. So he wanted the highest abode, and the Lord's planet called Dhruva Loka, it means the fixed place, and the word Dhruva means fixed. So because he meditated and he just had complete fixity on only one desire, that was the only desire he had, then he got given that desire because it was the Lord's desire also, that there was this fixed planet called the pole star, you know. So Prabhupada said Dhruva Loka is next to the pole star. It's right next to it, he said. It's not the pole star, but it's so close that it's accepted as being the same thing.
And the pole star is Vaikuntha Loka.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's very interesting what you're saying, because it also shows that you get a locale in the universe according to your consciousness. Right. If you're Dhruva, you're fixed in devotional service, then you will get this situation of unflinching devotion to the Lord, which will nourish and support this internal mood. Yeah.
Also in Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami points out that what is the nature of the Lord. And in almost all the cases when the devotee meets the Lord for the first time or whatever, and the Lord is smiling. And why is he smiling? Because he's very happy to see his devotee, but also because he knows that I will fulfill your desire, but I will give you even more than you didn't even imagine and never thought of it. Because this is the nature of the Lord. He wants to give more and more and more.
Yeah, that's his pastime. Yeah. That's why he smiles. And also, it's very often in Bhagavatam when the Lord sees the devotees, he's Smiling with compassion. That's another very often. You read this again and again with compassion. All right. So where are we now?
You said here somewhere.
We'll skip some of this. Okay. Text 58. Rsabha is described in the first canto. The eighth incarnation was King Rsabha, the son of King Nabi, and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection. I think this was the story. King Nabi, he wanted a son, and then the Brahmanas performed the yajna, and then the Lord appeared unexpectedly. They kind of didn't expect that he would come personally, but he came. They thought, we are performing yajna for this material purpose, and now the Lord comes. And we are obliged to ask this, because that's why we're doing the yajna. Aren't we unfortunate? But the Lord was very kind again, as always. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life. This verse describes the avatar called Rsabha. The Lord appeared as the son of Nabi, who was the son of Agnidra, and his wife Meru Devi. He revealed the ashrama of the Paramahamsa. The Lord, white in complexion, appeared to teach the dharma of the Paramahamsas. Because he was the best in all qualities, he was famous as Rsabha, excellent. Then
it means the dharma of the sannyas, or
of the Param. Yeah, in the Bhagavatam, I think Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says his instructions are meant for sannyasis, for Paramahamsa sannyasis.
It's also explained that he came to teach the Varnashram down, the whole system, not just one ashram, but all four.
Yeah, because his sons, these famous instructions he gave, most of the sons were not, they were family men.
So technically one can be a Paramahamsa and be a Grihastha Brahmachari. He can be in, it's not like a Vaduta is...
He can, although I think that technically, like most of the time when they use this term is for renunciates. Yeah. But the consciousness can be acquired everywhere, in all ashrams. Just like Baladevi Vibhushan, he says that there are three types of devotees. The one is Svanishta, that means a devotee who performs Varnashrama duties and along with Bhakti, but he predominantly performs Varnashrama. He's a devotee. And then Parinishta means a devotee who performs predominantly Bhakti and also some Varnashrama, but he's not attached to Varnashrama anymore. He performs Varnashrama duties only to give a good example. So he's a pure devotee, as we know. Example will be what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Great kings as Janaka, they perform their duties only to teach, to give a good example. They are not attached. And then the highest devotee is called Nirapeksha, but he's a sannyasi, so he cannot be a grihastha. Although he's technically on the same level, but somehow he doesn't perform any varnashrama duties, only pure bhakti. And he is considered highest. Although Grihya Vaku, Sadahari, yeah.
So we can say that Prabhupada's desire for ISKCON is Parinishta. One should execute Varnashram Dharma, but just to make as a preaching to show people that this is how you should rule society. And the basic idea is just become the devotee.
It's hard to say, but there is some logic in what you're saying, because once Prabhupada was asked which is the most important verse in Bhagavatam, and he answered that in Bhagavatam. And his answer was Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartor Dharmasi, which says that one should perform his duty for the sake of liberation. Dharmasi hi apavargasya, not to attain material benefits. So this is kind of, yes.
There are two types of varnashram down. You've heard varnashram and then you've heard Daivi varnashram. So the world is divided in two as the path of nivritti and pravritti. And the rest of the universe outside of Lakshadweep onwards, they all follow pravritti marg. And here in Jambudweep, we have Narad Muni who's looking after us, and then Vyasadeva, and we follow pravritti marg. Nivritti. Nivritti. So this particular varnashram is Daivi varnashram, and it's direct to the Lord. So that's what we all perform here, hopefully. but the Sankirtan movement itself is also two. There's the normal Sankirtan movement, which is for everyone, any names of God whatsoever, and then there's the Prema Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. And that's why your question comes in, because it's hopefully will be in the Prema Sankirtan, but otherwise it's the normal Sankirtan, So it's open for everyone. So this is the Daivi Varnashram, hopefully, to Lord Rishabdev.
And the Asuric Varnashrama will be follow the Varnashrama, but without connection to the Lord for material purposes.
Yeah. The beings in Lakshadweep, for example, they worship Narayana as a sun god, but in order to attain the sun planet, not to attain Vishnu Loka.
I think the last one, they worship Brahma.
Yeah, but to attain Brahma Loka, not to attain the spiritual world.
Yeah. If you follow Varnashrama duties but without connection to the Lord, you end up in the Bilasvarga, right?
Bilasvarga? No. You can end up in different places, the sun or the moon or different places you can end up. You don't have to go down.
You don't have to go down.
No.
Without connection to the Lord. If you're atheist.
No, you don't have to go down. It's an upward path. Bilasvarga is if you have desires that are slightly against the Lord. Somehow.
Demon's paradise.
That's a lower planet. Yeah.
Okay. Prthu is also described in the first canto. So that's the next one. O Brahmanas, in the 9th incarnation, the Lord, prayed for by sages, accepted the body of a king, Prthu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces, and for that reason he was attractive. The Lord, being requested by the sages, took the body of a king. His activities are described. He milked the earth of all treasures. Because of that milking, Prthu was very attractive. From the right arm of King Vena, which was churned by the sages, King Prthu, the generous one, so that's the meaning, Prthu means generous, appeared with pure golden complexion. His name is explained in this verse. His activities are described in 4th canto, chapters 14 to 23. So he appeared and he milked the earth, and the earth was trying to argue with him, to reason with him, but because she was not she was not performing her duties, basically. And Prthu Maharaj became a little angry, and she took the shape of a cow, hoping that the king, who was a very righteous king, he cannot harm a cow, the mother earth. But Prthu Maharaj was not easily manipulated. He told her, if you don't perform your duties, if you don't give the resources that we need, I'm going to kill you. And I'll feed with your flesh my pragya. And she was really scared. And then she explained why she holds the resources, because some of the people on the surface of the earth were not pious. So, and then everything had happy end, and so the Bhumi Devi told Prthu Maharaj, now okay, you can milk me, but you need a calf, because I give milk only when there is a calf. So this is very important principle in every undertaking. If you want to approach the spiritual master for knowledge, then you need the calf, and the calf is described in Bhagavad Gita, that vidi pranipatana pariprashana sevaya padikshanti te gyanam jnana statu darshanaka. In many other places. What was this verse from Bhagavatam? Tasmat gurum prapadyata jigyasam shaya uttamam shabda paracha nishnatam brahmanam yupashamashaya. And the calf is the good qualities of the disciple. That he approaches the Guru with humble attitude, shamik panishratriyam brahmanishtam, carrying firewood for sacrifice, and then he asks intelligent questions. He is ready to follow the instructions of the Guru, and then this is the calf, and then with this calf you can milk the Guru. He will give you knowledge and realization, and anything that you want, you need this approach. Anything. Therefore, when Indra wanted to beg forgiveness from Krishna, he also had a calf, and the calf was the Surabhi cow, and she was walking in front, so that Krishna will be pleased by seeing first the calf, the Surabhi, and then Indra. That's how it works. Okay. The 13 avataras from the Kumaras to Prthu appeared during Svayambhuva Manvantara. However, Varaha and Matsya appeared again in the Chakshusha Manvantara. This is the apparent appearance, but actually Matsya appears after every Manvantara. So Matsya appears 14 times.
Wow.
In one day, 14 times. So
that means after every Manvantara there is inundation.
Yeah, as we said the other time, otherwise he has to swim somewhere. There should be enough water. The 13, so the first 13 from Kumaras, that means from the first one, Prthu, appeared, all of them, Svayambhuva Manvantara, this is the first Manu. Okay? And now, the next, from tomorrow we will start to read about avatars who appear closer to our times, in the other Chakshusha and Vaivasvata Manvantara. Okay? Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.